Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are the legendary heroes who patrol Bikini Bottom to retirement. They're also SpongeBob and Patrick's personal favorites. But have you ever wondered what their story is? What dark tales are hidden behind their creation? Well, brace yourselves, because we're about to explore the little-known story of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy today. Are you ready, kids? SpongeBob SquarePants has a crew of characters living in the underwater city of Bikini Bottom. And in the mix are these cool superheroes, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Now, what makes them stand out? Well, everyone else down there is a sea creature. These two are humans, somehow chilling underwater. It's a wild twist in the SpongeBob universe. Animator and marine science educator Steven Hillenburg was the man behind creating the SpongeBob SquarePants television series. When it debuted on Nickelodeon in 1999, it was an immediate hit and has remained one of the country's longest running animation shows ever since. Not only has SpongeBob taken over television, but also movies, novels, and more. This underwater realm seems to be endlessly expanding. We follow SpongeBob and his friends, Patrick Star, Sandy Cheeks, Squidward Tentacles, Mr. Krabs, and even some less than amiable characters like Plankton on their daily adventures in SpongeBob SquarePants. However, the program has featured several additional characters with significant roles in SpongeBob's life. So it's not only about these central figures. Take, for instance, his grandma and the iconic heroes we're discussing today, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. These two legends weren't just idols for SpongeBob and Patrick. They were stars of their very own TV show. Can you imagine? But like all good things, their hero days had to end and they retired. Then came that hilarious moment when SpongeBob and Patrick stumbled upon them living their golden years at a retirement home in Bikini Bottom. Now, as we said, what makes Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy so unique in SpongeBob's world isn't just their superhero status. It's the fact that they're the only humans around. But get this, they're not just your regular-sized humans. They're just as small as everyone else down there. And they got a nifty skill of breathing underwater, like it's a piece of cake. But here's the kicker. These two used to be land dwellers. Yup, they had a whole life up there until some strange happenings led them to Bikini Bottom. Picture it, two former landlubbers in this underwater paradise. Now, that's a story you don't hear daily. So what's their origin story? You guessed it. The first season's episode titled Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy featured the legendary premiere of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Traditional. These two established themselves as main characters on the program, showing up in multiple episodes and putting up a solid fight until they decided to hang up their capes and relax. Even if they primarily appear in pictures or as toys these days, their legacy endures. What's intriguing is how they always portrayed their older selves. But guess what? The series threw a few treats in for fans, like snippets from their original show and some flashbacks, showcasing what these heroes looked like in their younger days. But hold on to your sea hats. It wasn't until season 8 that we finally got the full scoop on their origin story. It was a long wait, but boy was it worth it. Mermaid Man's original story is a total whirlwind. Picture this, a young, dashing, and super fit guy chilling on the beach when suddenly a massive wave pulls him into the ocean. Talk about a surprise wake-up call. Then bam, a raging whirlpool sucks him in, and down he goes. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. Mermaids come to the rescue, slapping a special star face on his nose to give him the ultimate underwater perk, breathing like a fish. I wish I could breathe like a fish. Life under the sea was only so exciting for our guy once he spotted someone drowning. Using his newfound powers, he saves this man by allowing him to breathe underwater, decking him out with barnacles in his lungs. Thus enters Barnacle Boy. Stuck together at the bottom of the ocean, they became the ultimate crime-fighting duo, stopping bad guys left and right. Flash forward to this epic flashback where they're busting a bank robbery. But they couldn't help but bicker about the details once they finished spinning the story. Classic Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Now, that is the story that we were told in that episode. But what if, just what if there were more to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy? what if there was something darker that has remained untold in television? Folks, many theories have been made about SpongeBob's favorite superheroes over the years. One states that Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are the US Navy's dark secret. A Reddit user first put forward the can't bullet theory, which is like an offshoot of another theory. This one's all about the idea that our yellow absorbent buddy and the whole gang are the result of, you ready for it? Nuclear fallout. Yep, it gets pretty wild. But before diving deep into that theory, let's ground ourselves in real-world history. See, Bikini Bottom, the fictional underwater city, is connected to a coral reef in the Marshall Islands called Bikini Atoll. Between 46 and 58 feet, this place was a hot spot for nuclear testing by the US. There were tests like Operation Crossroads and Castle Bravo, setting off some of the most massive explosions known to humanity. Now, here's the real kicker. These tests caused serious damage, not just to the warships, but also to the environment and the folks around there. Some unfortunate souls, not like our favorite porous pals, were exposed to unexpected radiation, leading to some pretty grim outcomes. The fallout from these nuclear tests left a legacy of ecological and human misery that's a dark stain in American history. Let's lighten up the mood. That is SpongeBob we're talking about after all. We're diving into some heavy stuff, but we've got to acknowledge the real history behind these theories. It's like blending a history lesson with a Bikini Bottom bedtime story. And who knew a pineapple-dwelling sponge could have such an intense backstory, right? Hold on to your pineapples, because here's a theory that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about Bikini Bottom. It's one of the most popular SpongeBob fan theories out there, and it's got a radioactive twist. So the theory goes that the nuclear tests at Bikini Atoll, remember those history lessons? Well, they might just be the secret sauce behind the wacky and wonderful residents of Bikini Bottom. But wait, Reddit user CartoonPanda took this theory to a whole new level by suggesting that our heroes, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, were Navy divers caught up in these nuclear tests gone haywire. Now, let's pause for a moment here. Imagine accidentally losing divers in those waters, or even conducting training missions there. Talk about a recipe for disaster. But in this wild theory, Mermaid Man gets hit by nuclear radiation in 46 feet during Operation Crossroads, while his protege Barnacle Boy gets his dose during Operation Castle. It's pretty freaky because the timeline seems to match their ages in the present SpongeBob universe. Here's what gets even more surreal. The theory claims these accidental mutations gave these ex-divers their underwater powers and fancy gadgets. We're talking breathing underwater, gadgets galore, the works! Oh, and about their size? Some say the mutation might have shrunk them to SpongeBob and Patrick's level. But hold your jellyfish nets. There's a canonical explanation too. They've got a shrinking ray among their arsenal of gadgets. Maybe they used it on themselves. Or perhaps it was triggered during the nuclear blast. I mean, come on, who knew they had access to such tech? Now, let's remember Mermaid Man's telling of his origins. The story involving a beach, laundry, surfing, and rescue by the mermaids we just shared. But here's the twist. He could be more of a reliable narrator. Another version of their story involves everything from radioactive ants, to aliens, to overcooked popcorn. It's a whirlwind of theories, and who knows which one's the real deal. Even Can't Bullet, the brains behind this theory, admitted they weren't sober when they crafted it. It's a fun, dark headcanon that adds a splash of mystery to the SpongeBob lore. But theory aside, have you ever wondered if our heroes aren't heroes? What if they are masterminds behind a decades-long conspiracy? This theory flips the script on our retired superheroes, suggesting they're not exactly the shining star we've always believed them to be. Exhibit A, Fame and Glory. Seems like these retired heroes have a real taste for the spotlight. They've got the adoring fans, the endless merchandise, and even their own TV show, The New Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. But hold your seahorses. They're not stopping there. They'll cozy up to Memmer and even buddy up with their supposed nemesis just to get back on TV. Talk about craving that spotlight. Exhibit B, Mind Control. Ever notice that M on Mermaid Man's belt? Some say it stands for mind control. That's right, this theory suggests that Mermaid Man has the power to control the citizens of Bikini Bottom, turning them into hypnotized minions. Check out the eerie footage. Singers turned into brainwashed attackers. And the swirling screen? Could it be hypnotizing their audience? Exhibit C? Collusion. Hold on to your sea hats because it gets even wilder. Evidence hints that Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy might not just fight evil. They could be enabling it. Take Man Ray and the Dirty Bubble for instance. How come they always seem to show up? And guess who's behind them conveniently? Could our heroes be pulling the strings? Releasing these villains just for their heroics? That would not be cool. Well, now picture this. Man Ray and the Dirty Bubble wreaking havoc, and our heroes with the power to stop them at the press of a button. Yet, they let the chaos unfold just for their heroic grandstanding. It's like a twisted game of hero and villain, orchestrated by none other than our beloved retired heroes. But hold your seahorses. This theory's a wild ride. Perhaps that's exactly why they've remained just that. Theories. From battling the nefarious Man Ray in Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3, to their comical struggles with the tickle belt in Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4. These heroes had everything. Gadgets, wit, and many fishy foes. So, remember the unsung heroes who defended the sea next time you're in Bikini Bottom? Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, legends forever! Thanks for diving deep into the untold story of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy with us. Remember to like, subscribe, and keep exploring the ocean of nostalgia with us.